Now, today's sutta study is a special one. I usually teach a short sutta in this series, but Ratna has chosen this very wonderful sutta from the Digha Nikaya. Notice the number is D28. It's Digha Nikaya number 28. Sampasādanīya Sutta. Here, pasada means joyful. Okay, so you find actually the root word is satya. Niya here, something that which will happen, or something that we do with it. Okay, niya, like karaniya, you should do this for your metta, right? Sam is like English con, like concentrate to put it together, and then pa is like to strengthen it. So these are prefixes, okay? And this is satya is the root, right? So it's got to do with faith. Remember from you get saddha, right? So this is what inspires faith. Not only faith, you got some plus pa in front, prefix. So you have this sense of serene peacefulness. So you find Pali is a very rich language with lots of different parts of the word, which enriches and deepens and broadens the word. So sutta, discourse, the discourse that inspires serene faith, that makes us feel joyful, happy, connected to practice. And this is in Digha number 28. Now, once you see Digha, you know the sutta is going to be quite long. There's going to be lots of like story and a lot of things being spoken in terms of the dhamma, in terms of the Buddha, in terms of the Sangha. So this is a long sutta, about 20 pages. So we do it probably in 2 parts. And today we try to finish 10 pages. It's more like a summary of all the teachings we have learned, put together. And this is sutta is very interesting because it's between 2 people, between Sāriputta and Moggallana. Right? Sāriputta is Sāriputta and the Buddha. Okay, so Sāriputta is praising the Buddha, saying, "Well, you know, this is wonderful. You have all these teachings, you know, and then this is you're a very special person, and so on and so forth." In this first part today, we'll look at Sāriputta talking about the teachings. And in the next lesson, we'll look at Sāriputta talking more about the Buddha. So it's like you have wisdom and we have compassion. Remember, studying sutta alone is easy, but not enough. You find some people, they study suttas, and then they know a lot of sutta. Then, you know, you find the head part is strong, but the heart part is not so strong. Do you remember the Buddha talks about spiritual friendship, right? In other words, we have to communicate with others. So it's not just knowing, it's also about feeling. We don't have to keep on telling people, okay, these are the Four Noble Truths and so on. You find as they experience things in life, then slowly you point out, say, okay, this is what's happening, right? And you find the studying part, they can easily do it themselves. There's so many translations nowadays. So the communication, the friendship, the warmth, fellowship is what's important. And what is actually missing today? On the other hand, you should not go to the other extreme where you socialize, lots of talking, and then there's no wisdom. So you need a balance, right? So in this sutta, you see both sides. So today we look at the wisdom aspects. Okay, let's look at the starting page of the translation. This is page 127, I think. Yeah? Further down some. Okay, here we are. Sampasadaniya Sutta. So remember how to pronounce Pali. Look at there's a macron here. Macron is the line. Macron means big. Okay, so this line makes the sound big. Actually, it doubles the sound, 2 bits. No? Otherwise, it's just sa, but this one is sa. Okay, more or less 2 bits in music. Tam tam like that, or ti tam. Okay, so sampa. By the way, this SAM is regarded as a long syllable, sam, and then pa, short syllable, sa, long syllable. So this one's value same as sam, okay? Sampasādanīya Sutta, okay? So da is short, and then ni, see the vowel here is another macron here, so it's long, e sound, ni, long, okay? And then just ya. Okay, sut, suti, it's a double value, 2 and double time, and then the short, right? In Pali poetry, classical poetry, this kind of timing is very important. A lot of mathematics in it. So, like when you recite the Mangala Sutta, for example, you can see that the tune there, or the verses of the Dhammapada, you can see those very nice verses. That is one kind of verse called shloka, now very popular ancient kind of verse. The discourse that inspires serene faith, D28. Thus have I heard. Once the Blessed One was dwelling in Pavarika's mango grove near Nalanda. Nalanda is actually the Sāriputta's hometown. Okay? So Sāriputta was very happy to have the Buddha there. And you find, okay, here you see this little note in angle brackets, D16, 16, as you know, is the Mahaparinibbana Sutta, right? So 1.16. So in other words, this part is very similar to that part. Right? Then, in other words, sometimes you find the suttas, they are embedded in other suttas. They are interconnected in that sense, right? So this guides you to the interconnection. This takes a lot of work, so I thought this is very helpful. We put this in, saves you a lot of time. You can look up and compare. All right, here is 1.2. Right? In the Mahaparinibbana Sutta is 1.16. And there's a footnote there. This footnote tells you further other things about this. If you're, your free time, you can look them up. All right. Then the Venerable Sāriputta went up to the Blessed One, and having saluted him, sat down at one side. Sitting thus at one side, the Venerable Sāriputta said this to the Blessed One. So notice here, it's not the Buddha talking, it's straight away you are told by the narrator. So who's talking here? It's the sutta narrator. If you like, it is Ananda, or the council members of the first council. So they put in this narrative background for us so that we know the context of the teaching. So here Sāriputta speaks. It is thus clear to me, or you can translate as, such is my faith. You see, when you learn Pali, you find it's very rich language. It's not always easy to translate into English. So one device or one method is called the amplified translation. This is called, amplified it means you expand the meaning. Here is called alternate translation, right? So you see square brackets, that means this is alternate. You can choose either one, okay? Some people say, oh, you must have only one word. It's up to them. If you can choose, it's even better, right? So you say, oh, I like this one. Then it's easier for you to remember. It is thus clear to me. Or you can say, such is my faith, right? And you wonder what are the Pali words there. Look at 24, right? So Bhante, that there never has been, there will never be, and there is now no other recluse or Brahmin who is better or wiser than the Blessed One. That is to say, as regards self-awakening. Oh, this is a line roll. A line roll means a declaration of faith. A declaration of faith. For example, once we went for this social work gathering, the Buddhists are not very good in organizing all these things. So we wanted to learn some social work, join some group, and the Christian groups are most organized. So there is this Lutheran group, I think, or Presbyterian, I can't remember, probably Presbyterian. So they're okay. They're government sponsored, so just kind of like they organize all the social work. So we joined them. And Rana and I, one of the first things when we introduce ourselves, we tell them with big smile, we are Buddhists, something like that. Well, I wouldn't say it's a lion roar because we're not the Buddha. For non-arahats, I think the word used is like a thunder gajita, a thunderous statement, something like that. So we were happy to tell them we are Buddhists, right? To show that Buddhists also have a heart. We also want to do some social work, help others, and in that way help ourselves. So here we see Sāriputta very happy, and he's telling the Buddha, in no small way, says that in the past never has been, in the future never will be, and right now you are the best. There's no one else better than you in terms of self-awakening. You are the best. Oh, this is a lion roar. Why he's telling the truth? It's not just praising the Buddha. I mean, if it's not true, it'd be praised, but here he's telling the truth. And then the Buddha replies, lofty indeed are the words you utter, Sāriputta, and lordly as a bull too. That was very majestic. So this idea of, that is very interesting, because here we say in Pali, lordly as a bull. But in English, we say bull, the meaning is opposite. In other words, it's not something serious. But here, in ancient India, the sound of the bull is majestic. Okay? And the bull looks majestic to the Indians anyway. So the Buddha basically is saying, wow, you're really saying something wonderful, something great. You are absolutely caught up in a lion roar, right? There you are, lion roar is mentioned here. What's a lion roar? When the lion roars, all the animals of the jungle will they'll be very scared, very quiet, they'll be cowering and hiding in their safe places and so on. So this lion roar is heard by all the animals. So the Buddha's teaching is like a lion roar, still heard today after it was roared 2,600 years ago. So the Buddha says, Sāriputta, this is a lion roar indeed. For you to say, okay, further down, the Buddha repeats Sāriputta's words. It is clear to me, such is my faith, Bhante. There's never been, there will never be, and there is now no other recluse or Brahmin who is better or wiser than the Blessed One. That is to say, regarding self-awakening. So now the Buddha asks, well, now Sāriputta, were you with the arahats, were the one fully self-awakened ones of past times? So that with your mind, you have grasped the minds of all the blessed ones, thus such is the moral virtue of the blessed ones, such is their nature, such is their wisdom, such is how they live, such is their liberation. So the Buddha is not one used to praises, so he challenges, in a sense, he challenges Sāriputta. He says, okay, you give me all this big praise. You say I'm the best of all the, compared to the past, future, present Buddha, I'm the best. Have you met all the Buddhas of the past? And Sāriputta says, no, Bhante, right? So you see this very interesting situation building up. Well, then, Sāriputta, will you be with the arahats, with the ones, self-awakened ones of the future, so that with your mind you will grasp the minds of all the blessed ones? Thus, such is the moral virtue of the blessed ones, such is their nature, such is their wisdom, such is how they live, such is their liberation? No, Bhante. So here, now the Buddha says, okay, will you be reborn and live with all the future Buddhas, not just one, all the past, all the future Buddhas, and you're going to know them? Because if you say I'm the best, you should know all the rest. You must compare with everyone else, right? So again, Sāriputta has to reply, no. Okay. 1.5. Well then, Sāriputta. Now the Buddha is talking about the present moment. Do you know me as an arahat, worthy one, fully self-awakened one, so that with your mind you have grasped my mind, that such is the moral virtue of the Blessed One, such is his nature, such is his wisdom, such is how he lives, and such is his liberation. Now, what interestingly here, Sāriputta again replies, no, Bhante. But if you follow the Vimamsaka Sutta, Sāriputta could have answered yes in this case, right? But then it would not make this story so gripping, all right? So by saying no here, the Buddha is respecting, Sāriputta rather is respecting the Buddha even more. He's basically he's saying right now, no, right now I'm not reading your mind. I don't know is all your whole life, right? So this is to keep the trend of the story interesting. So Sāriputta says he doesn't know the Buddha of the past, he doesn't know the Buddhas of the future, he doesn't even really know the present Buddha. He cannot completely read the mind of the present Buddha. Then the Buddha replies, 1.6. So then, Sāriputta, you do not have the knowledge of the minds of the arahats, worthy one, fully awakened of the past, right? But then, Sāriputta, why do you utter lofty and lordly words? Why are you so absolutely caught up with the lion roar, saying, it is clear to me, basically he's saying the Buddha is the best. I know the Buddha of all the Buddhas, of all the Buddhas in the past, future, and present, this Buddha is the best, right? So here you have this challenge. Now, Sāriputta has his answer. He is the wisest of the monks. He has his answer. And this is his answer. 2. No, Bhante, I have no knowledge of the minds of the arahats, who is self-awakened ones, of the past, of the future, or of the present. But, big but here, it is known to the drift of the dharma, the dhamma lineage. Okay? So here, how does Sāriputta knows this? It's the nature of the dharma. It is such. It's because of the dharma the Buddha is such. There's only one Buddha right now. So he's not lying. Yes, he's praising, but this one Buddha is there. So there's no one else to compare with this Buddha, because he's the only one. That's one way of putting it. It's the drift of the dharma. And he knows this because he's part of the dharma lineage, because he has become awakened, and being awakened, he has joined what's called the Arya Vamsa. Arya, noble, Vamsa means lineage. In other words, the path of the saints. So this is the normal thing that we know our teacher is the best. And then he's also stopped there. This is Sāriputta talking. So he uses the parable of the frontier city. Bhante, it is just as if there were a royal frontier city with strong bastions and a strong wall and an archway that has a single gate, where a wise gatekeeper, skilled and intelligent, who keeps out strangers and lets in only those he knows. And he constantly patrols and follows along a path, around the wall of the city, so that he would see any crack or cleft in the walls large enough for even a cat to crawl through. But whatever larger creatures that enter or leave the city must all enter or leave by this very city gate. Even so, Bhante, is the drift of the Dhamma known to me. So here the Sāriputta is saying his knowledge or his awakening is like this frontier city. This fantasy has also been used to compare to awakening, to nirvana. See? It is an ancient city. In other words, it's always there. Nirvana is always there. And then the wise gatekeeper, of course, is the teacher. And it is a very safe place. Outsiders cannot come in. Only the citizens, right people are there. So, in other words, Sāriputta is one of them, and he knows who these people are, who knows who the saints are, he knows who the arahats are, he knows who the Buddha is in that sense. So this is the parable of the frontier city. So remember, parables like this, they're contextual. So in this case, you got to interpret this in connection with the story right now. And elsewhere, the fantasy is used to illustrate the nirvana, for example. So it's quite flexible. All right, so here you have Buddha talking with Sāriputta, wisdom, echoing wisdom. And so this is the beginning of something really amazing. Let's go down some more. Go down a bit more, please. The next section. Right, so Bhante, whatever arahats, worthy ones, Buddhists have awakened once there were of past times. All these Buddhas, having overcome the 5 mental hindrances, that are mental impurities, sapping the strength of wisdom, then placing their minds firmly in the 4 focuses of mindfulness, then cultivating the 7 factors of awakening according to reality, attain to the fearless, full self-awakening. Now, this is a very nice summary of Buddhist practice or Dhamma practice in terms of the Buddha. Now, there are some words here you have to, I'm not going to explain every term here because it's going to take a lot of time. So we're going to see a lot of terms being introduced. These are the key terms in Buddhist teachings. So you can look up the references, the footnotes, or you can then follow the cross references. That's how you learn all these new terms, right? So there is first training, overcoming of the mental hindrances through keeping the precepts and so on. And then you have the focuses of mindfulness is meditation itself, all right? Once you overcome the mental hindrances, in other words, you overcome the limitations of the body so that the mind is free to focus, to reach samadhi and dhyana through the 4 focuses of mindfulness or satipatthana. And the method is explained in the 7 factors of awakening. So they are all interconnected very nicely in this way, in this kind of sequence, right? So this is something worth reflecting on, and it's something very beautiful. You can use this to reflect on and then do your meditation, or you can just reflect on it and feel very joyful, all right? Sometimes the joy can be so great and you feel happy. It's just like meditation itself, all right? Right, then Sāriputta declares his faith further. Bhante, I came here before the Blessed One to listen to the Dhamma. Now imagine he's already a great arahat, you know, but he still comes and he says, I come here to listen to the Dhamma. Because as an arahat, whatever he hears, so beautiful. Imagine it's like a really good musician, an expert pianist. An expert pianist doesn't say, oh, from now on, I'm an expert and I don't have to listen anymore to any piano playing. That is wrong, that is stupid, isn't it? Because when you know something so beautiful like music, you want to hear again, and then you begin to know how well the person is playing and so on, or you can teach the person, right? So here is like, Dhamma is like music in this case. So he comes to listen to the master playing Dhamma music. The Blessed One taught me the Dhamma, most excellent, most exquisite, contrasting the dark against the light. And even as he had shown the Dhamma most excellent, most exquisite, contrasting the dark against the light, there was direct knowledge in me regarding the Dhamma, right? So he also already is an Arahat. So when he hears this, he's very happy. In other words, the expert listening to music and knows, oh, this is beautiful. This music is well played. Nothing more to say. Just listen, smile. Here, a certain Dhamma amongst the Dhammas I have arrived at conclusively is that I have joyful faith in the teacher, right? So you feel happy. So this faith here means this confidence, you know there is this one beauty, you know there is this truth. You always go together, truth and beauty, beauty and truth. So this, the faith is the confidence he has in the Buddha. That the Blessed One is the fully self-awakened one. Right? So here, it's only this one Buddha. And this is very important, very beautiful. That the Blessed One's Dharma is well taught. Well taught, that means it's all there, complete. It's not that every word on the Dharma is spoken in a manner of speaking, yes, but the point is there is enough Dharma there. It's like the keys on the piano, you see. I mean, it's not like you must have miles and miles of piano key. I mean, it'd be totally crazy, isn't it? You just have those few keys, and the expert can. It's enough for the expert to play the most beautiful music with those keys, with the piano keys. That the Sangha is well practiced. Okay, now notice I often or always use the small letter S here. Some people may wonder how come I use big B for the Blessed One, but S. Here, whenever something is good and something is Dhamma, I just use a normal spelling for it. It's not an entity, it's not a status, but it's a reality. But so the Sangha here refers to the noble Sangha, the Arahats, the non-returners, the once-returners, and the stream-winners. They are well practiced. In other words, they know the Dhamma, and they're practicing it, and that practice has brought them to that level at this point in time. And if they're not yet arahats, they will keep on progressing. So that's the way the Dhamma works. So you have Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, all complete. So imagine this beautiful celebration here of the Dhamma. Now Sāriputta hasn't finished yet. He's going to tell us a lot more for our benefit. He's not lecturing to the Buddha, although the Buddha is present. He's like becoming a witness to the Buddha's teaching for our benefit, because we are the ones listening today. It's like it's a window in time. So the Sāriputta is coming through, right? It's like Bluetooth, you know. So when you're connected, then this Dhamma reaches you. 3. Furthermore, Bhante, unsurpassable is the Dhamma that the Blessed One teaches concerning the wholesome dharmas or wholesome states. There is to say the wholesome states, and namely, okay, what are the teachings? Okay, there you are. You count here. Look at this. How many of them are there here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So these are called the 7 sets. And these 7 sets form a very neat summary of the whole teaching. These are the common teaching Buddha often used to teach, depending on a person's character. The 4 focuses of mindfulness, Cattaro Satipatthana. The 4 right efforts, Cattaro Samapadana. The 4 paths to success, Cattaro Iddhipada. The 5 spiritual faculties, Pañcindriya. Here you see apostrophe, right? Pancha Indriya. So we don't say Pancha Indriya, although in Malay we say that. But in Pali, to make it flow, Pañcindriya. So there's no A there, but it's apostrophe. The 5 powers, Panchabala. The 7 awakening factors, Satta, bojjhaṅga, and the Noble Eightfold Path, Arya Atangika magga. Now, if you total all this up, 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 5 plus 5 plus 7 plus 8, you get 37. These are the 37 awakening factors. 37 limbs of awakening. These are the complete teachings, if you like, all right? But they all lead to the same goal, so you can choose any one which you like. Here, Bhante, among having realized right here and now for himself through direct knowledge, that means personal experience, attains and dwells in the freedom of mind and freedom of wisdom, freedom by wisdom. Right? So here means he develops his meditation, here it develops his wisdom, insight, that are influx free from defilements with the destruction of mental influxes. His mind is pure, no more defilements. With regards to the wholesome dharmas, Bhante, this is unsurpassable. So in terms of true dharma, this is the highest. This, the Blessed One knows without exception. That is entirely, the Blessed One has directly known this without exception. And beyond this, there's nothing more to be known. In this direct knowing, there is no other recluse or Brahmin who is greater or wiser in direct knowledge regarding the wholesome dharmas. So here the Sāriputta for once is stating for us the basic facts. The Buddha knows everything there is to know about the Dharma. He's the expert, right? So this is the statement here. So this is another lion roar. It's like a lecture. In fact, in a sense, it is a lecture, but it's amazing how Sāriputta put it all out just by word of mouth here. He didn't prepare any script. He doesn't have a beautifully printed set of notes and say, okay, here's my lecture. He just says it like that. Next, 4. Section 4. Furthermore, Bhante, unsurpassable is the Dhamma. Notice unsurpassable is the operating word here. Nothing beyond this. Unsurpassable is the Dhamma that the Blessed One teaches concerning the definition of the sense spaces. Bhante, there are these 6 internal and external sense spaces. Now let me explain this very interesting word. 6 internal and external sense spaces. Now, we can, of course, if we want to be exact, we can say 6 internal and 6 external sense spaces. Then you have 6 inside, 6 outside. But that's not the way it works. So you see here, even in the simplicity of Pali, you have this technicality hidden away. It is simply said these 6 internal and external sense spaces, but they become 12 if you really count them. Why? Because internal, external, they work together here. They are not separated. That is why they are not said to be 6 of this, 6 of that. Right? So you have 1 internal, external, 2 internal, external, 3 internal, external, and so on. So you get 12. So they're called the 12 sense spaces. Okay. So this is a very interesting point. I don't think you've heard this explained before, right? So there you are, where Pali is very helpful, and the Dhamma is even better, right? So remember this, why this is called the 6 internal and external sense bases, and not 6 internal and 6 external sense bases. Okay. All right, then we go on a bit more. Okay, we can finish this part, then we take a break, all right? So this 6, there you see the 6 internal and 6 external, right? The I and forms. So this is one set. You can't have I without form. You can't have form without the I. They go together. So we're not talking about just one. We're talking about this whole process of experience. So look at the Pali. Chakung cheva rupa cha. Cakung cewa rupacha. Of course, you can say in Pali cakung ca rupacha, which is very easy. In English, be I and form. But here, eva. Eva is a stress word, a bit difficult to translate into English. You can sometimes translate as only. It's a stress term. Definitely, something like that. So here, it means this I and this form, they go together. Chewa, they are together, basically. So, cakung chewa rupacha. Same thing for the rest. There's always this eva in every phrase. Now, that is why I spend time to punctuate the Pali. The Pali doesn't have the apostrophe, right? We just see CEVA. But here I put the apostrophe, so you know this is cha. The A, the R is missing. R, not or. We don't say A, we say R. So cha eva become cheva. Okay. So same thing for all this, right? So the ear and sounds. There's no, the ear is useless without sounds. And there is no sounds without the ear. They go together, right? Same thing with nose and smells, the tongue and taste, the body and touches, the mind and mind objects. Okay, so if all together, āyatana, the 12 sense bases. With regards to the definition of sense bases, Bhante, this is unsurpassable. This is the Blessed One. This the Blessed One knows without exception. He knows entirely. The Blessed One has directly known this without exception. And beyond this, there's nothing more to be known regarding this topic. That is, in this direct knowing, there's no other recluse or Brahmin who is greater or wiser in direct knowledge regarding the wholesome dharmas. So Sāriputta is saying, okay, this 12 things, simple as they may be, no one else can define anything more than this. The Buddha himself said this in the Sampasādanīya, same thing, no? And Sāriputta is echoing it. So here the Buddha, Sāriputta is saying, in this teaching is complete, and no one has given it better than the Buddha, and this is the one. So you can imagine how amazing this statement. That is why Sāriputta has got this like encyclopedic mind. This is why the Abhidharma people take him up like their patron saint, you know, and attribute to him many of the Abhidharma teachings. Okay, so we'll stop here for a moment. So Sāriputta is giving this really amazing summary of the Buddha's teaching in practical terms from direct knowledge. Now we go to the 4 modes of conception. The psychologists will find this very interesting, right? 5. Furthermore, Bhante, unsurpassable is the dharma that the Blessed One teaches concerning the modes of conception, how we conceive things, especially in terms of rebirth. Bhante, there are these 4 modes of conception. Okay, here conception is coming into being. Okay? Here, Bhante, not clearly comprehending, one simply descends into the mother's womb. Not clearly comprehending, one remains in the mother's womb. Not clearly comprehending, one leaves the mother's womb. This is the first mode of conception. Okay, this, according to ancient Indian teachings, is how beings are conceived in the womb. In fact, this number 1 here, brackets 1, describes us human beings. Okay, we are born not knowing, not clearly comprehending, and so on. Right. So we leave the womb also that way. Okay. Okay, just excuse me a moment. My cat is at the door. So. Okay. So number 2, furthermore, Bhante, yes, clearly comprehending, one descends into the mother's womb. Here, in other words, the consciousness takes root, takes birth, but not clearly comprehending. One remains in the mother's womb. Not clearly comprehending, one leaves the mother's womb, right? So this is the second group. Yeah? So this second group refers to the to the 80 great disciples, okay? Those monks who are going to become really great arahats. So they descend clearly comprehending, but once they are inside, they're not aware of it, and then they leave also, they're not aware of it. Then the third kind of conception, here Bhante, clearly comprehending, one descends into the mother's womb. Clearly comprehending, one remains in the mother's womb. But not clearly comprehending, one leaves the mother's womb. This is the third mode of conception. Right? So this is where when the being is born, the being is not aware of it. Right? But in the first two, this being is aware in a conscious way, right? In a special sense of knowing that it is being reborn, rebirth knowledge, if you like. Then number 4, here Bhante, clearly comprehending, one descends into the mother's womb. Clearly comprehending, one remains in the mother's womb. And then clearly comprehending, one leaves the mother's womb. This is the fourth mode of conception. And this is, of course, the Buddha himself, right? So the Buddha is aware of the whole process. Oh, by the way, the previous number 3, the examples here are the 2 chief disciples. So they are all in the notes anyway, if you look at it. Okay, so these are things, a bit of Abhidhamma already. You notice this is Sāriputta talking already, all right? Next, Sāriputta talks about thought reading, section 6. Furthermore, Bhante, unsurpassable is the dharma that the Blessed One teaches concerning thought reading, ādesana vidhā. Bhante, there are these 4 modes of thought reading. So how can thought reading be done in 4 ways? 1, here Bhante, by means of a sign, one declares, this is your mind, this is in your mind, such is your thought. And however many such declaration he makes, they are exactly so, not otherwise. This is the first mode of thought reading. So this first method is watching body language or external signs, if you like, all right? So the magicians are very good in this, if you like, all right? Then number 2, furthermore, Bhante, one does not make his declaration by means of a sign, but after listening to the sounds of humans, of non-humans, or of devas. Having heard their sounds, one declares, this is your mind, this is your, in your mind, such is your thought. And however many such declaration it makes, they are exactly so, they're not otherwise. This is the second mode of thought reading. So this is by the sounds made by the person, right? So this other person, the Manida, listens to this person and he knows what's going on. So it's got some special abilities, right? Now the third method, furthermore, Bhante, one does not make his declaration by means of a sign, nor after having heard voices of humans, of non-humans, or devas, but from having initial applied and sustained his mind, listening to the sound of one's person's thought vibrations, one declares, this is your mind, this is in your mind, this is your thought. And this is exactly how it happens. So number 1 is by watching signs. Number 2 is by listening to words, to voices, to sounds. Number 3 is through meditation, the first jhana. Because notice the word initially applied, sustain his mind, right? So he gets into meditation and he comes out and he's able to read the mind through mental focus. Number 4, further Bhante, one does not make his declaration by means of a sign, nor after hearing or after having heard voices of humans, of non-humans, or devas, nor by listening to the sounds of a person's thought vibrations, nor by having initially applied and sustained his mind, and listening to the mind of a person's thought vibrations. But by a samadhi free from initial application and sustained application, one knows that mind of another with his own thus. By way of the mental formations of these good men are inclined, he will think such and such a thought within his mind. And however many such declarations he makes, they're exactly so, not otherwise. This is the 4th mode. So in this case, the person goes deeper into meditation, deeper into jhana, so it's a bit more clear, and is able to read the person's mind. Okay, so you have here these 4 ways. So you can see how amazing Sāriputta's knowledge is. He summarizes all these things. And some of these things the Buddha did not actually speak about them, although he approves of this case. So in a sense, this sutta is to approve of these teachings by Sāriputta. Okay. All right, now we go to number 7, further down, attainment of vision. Furthermore, Bhante, unsurpassable is the dharma that the Blessed One teaches concerning the attainment of vision. Bhante, these are the 4 attainments of vision. Vision, seeing into reality. Okay, here, it need not be awakening, but you have this vision of true reality, impermanence, and so on, beginning with the perception of foulness, the 31 parts of the body. Here, Bhante, a certain recluse or Brahmin, by means of āda, that means really wonderful effort, serious effort, by means of effort, by means of devotion, by means of heedfulness, by means of right attention, touches such a level of mental concentration. His mind having touched a samadhi, he reviews this very body, wrapped in skin, full of various impurities, from the soles of the feet upwards, from the crown of the head downwards. In this body, body has nail, teeth, skin. Okay, these are they're numbered in groups for you. Okay, so this is the first group, is called the group ending with skin, tacha paññaka. The group of 5 ending with skin, tacha means skin, paññaka, the 5th. Number 2, flesh, sinews, bones, bone marrow, kidneys, heart, liver, membranes around the lungs, spleen, lungs. Large intestine, small intestine, stomach contents, and then feces. Now, brain is square brackets added later on. 5, bile, phlegm, pus, blood, sweat, fat. 6, tears, grease, saliva, snot, oil of joint, urine. So these are liquid. So this is the first attainment of vision. Okay, in this case, according to the earlier description, the person attains samadhi. Right? So his mind is mentally focused. And then he comes out with the focus and then observes, reflects on the 32 parts very carefully. This is the first method. The second method is the charnel ground meditation. These are the stages of decay of the body. Furthermore, Bhante, a certain recluse or Brahmin, by means of āda, by means of effort, by means of devotion, by means of heedfulness, by means of right attention, touches such a level of mental concentration, his mind, having touched such a samadhi, he reviews this very body, wrapped in skin full of various impurities, from the soles of the feet upwards and from the crown of the head downwards. In this body, there are head hairs, body hairs, nail, teeth, skin, flesh, sinews, bones, bone marrows, kidneys, large intestines, small intestines, stomach contents, feces, brain, bile, phlegm, pus, blood, sweat, fat, tears, grease, saliva, snot, oil of joints, urine. And going further, he reviews bones covered with skin, flesh and blood. And this is the second attainment of vision. So here the meditator goes deeper and notices the decaying of the body. This is the cemetery meditation. Now, number 3 is even more complicated, deeper. Stream of consciousness is established. Furthermore, Bhante, a certain recluse of Brahmin, by means of ardor, by means of effort, by means of devotion, by means of heedfulness, by means of right attention, touches mental concentration. His mind, having touched a samadhi, he reviews this very body, wrapped in skin and full of various impurities, from the soles of the feet upwards and from the crown of the head downwards. In this very body, there are head hairs and so on, with all the 32 parts. And then the last line, and going further, he reviews bones covered with skin, flesh, and blood. And he knows the unbroken stream of consciousness, as established in this world and established in the next. Okay, let's go further down, please. All right, there you are. Okay, so here his mind is focused and is able to see this, and is in this life and also establish, it follows him in the next life also. And then number 5, this. Now in number 4, there's this rebirth process, so the knowledge follows him. But in number 5 here, it's the same as 4, so I won't go into it. But in this case, I just read the last part. All right, you look at the bottom here. And going further, he reviews bones covered with skin, flesh, blood, and he knows the unbroken stream of consciousness as both unestablished in this world and unestablished in the next world. Here, meaning the person has awakened as an arahat, so the consciousness is not established anymore. So in this way, he's able to know. This is very difficult to know. You've got to be an arahat to be awakened to know this also. So these are the 4 ways. All right. Now, looks like we are reaching the end of 5 more minutes, so looks like I have to start a bit earlier than planned. I wanted to go on to another page actually, but 2 pages more actually. But so just to, it's okay, we'll stop here and then see how. If you have questions, you can ask. And I don't want to rush so that we can complete it very comfortably. What time for you to think also. Okay, we have 5 minutes for questions.
Thank you, Teacher Piya. Yes.
Who is that talking? I can't hear.
Can you hear me?
I can hear Exim.
Okay, thank you.
But I can hear is there someone else talking in the background?
Someone else talking, no?
Oh, okay. No, not a questioner.
Yeah. The first question from Sister Huilin.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Yeah. Father Piya, this sutta has no mention of the parami. At times we heard parami required to attain liberation. Can you provide some clarity if parami is mentioned in any other sutta?
No. Parami is not mentioned in any sutta. It's only mentioned in Burma. Myanmar. Okay, so you find that when you join Buddhist groups, there always this terminology they use, right? So the Burmese school would like to say yogi this, yogi that, parami. You don't have parami, you won't get it, right? And these have become dogmas, unfortunately. So we have to be very careful about labeling. It become labeling, and it can become quite scary sometimes for some people. You got it, you don't have it, and so on. Whereas meditation is a very gentle flow of practice. You find the Buddha doesn't label people like that. So no, this sutta doesn't mention parami. In fact, as far as I know, the suttas don't mention parami because it's a later Mahayana teaching. Of course, the term is mentioned in a sense simply meaning some kind of perfecting some ability. The Mahayana came up with 6 paramis, and then this is after the Buddha's time. And the Buddhist scholars at the time decided to introduce the 10 in the commentaries. Okay? So you have the 10 paramis, and then Jataka stories and so on. So that's how it is like, right? So don't worry too much about the paramis. Important thing is this practice that you are at peace with. Remember what I talked about learning the Dhamma. Dhamma with the heart, very important, okay? People come first. Listening to people come first. And in a sense, joy, peace, so that this Dhamma you have attracts people. People feel happy, right? So you may know a lot of things, but then you may not be really happy. Or because we're not happy, we replace it with knowledge. Right? Whereas you're happy when you say something, people listen, and that helps just a little bit. Remember I told you a story about my meeting with Chan Sumedo when I was a young monk, the first few years of my monkhood. I said, last time I met him, he was a young monk himself. And I sat down with him for 2 hours. And all he talked to me about was in the peaceful voice about Vinaya. I don't remember the exact words he said, but that peace that I felt at that time is still there today in me, as I recall that wonderful event. So this is what we want to give to people, that inner peace. Not to show them that they know less, we know more, that becomes a status rather than a state. The state is peace, knowing impermanence, yes. So this aspect of us as Dhamma teachers, as Dhamma practitioners, humility, joy, peace is very important. So do bear this in mind, okay? Because now there is so much fact and information about Dhamma we can know, and it can dehumanize us. So we don't want that to happen. So we want this human aspect, we want this wonderful connection, that Dhamma is a joy to hear and a joy to practice. Okay? All right. Actually, it's 9:30, but any last minute question?
Brother Piya, the next question from Sister Sogecha.
So, yeah.
Brother Piya, can you please explain further on saddha and pasada?
Oh, okay. Saddha means faith. You learn something and then you understand it, and then you say, oh, okay, now I know how this works and I'm very happy with it, and I understand it, I like it. That is wise faith. Okay. Pasada is the sense of like relief, a very wonderful feeling of relief because the suffering is gone. Remember the 4 sights. Okay, very good example. No? The Bodhisattva saw an old man, a sick man, and a dead man. So that caused him samvega. He got a shock. He's very unhappy, very concerned. What's going on here? Then he saw the 4th sight. That is a renunciant, this very calm, peaceful person walking like the Venerable Asaji. Now that's pasada. That is this joyful faith. You feel good. watching a very peaceful forest monk, or you see this beautiful Buddha image, or you read a sutta and you feel very happy because it's so beautiful. But that's pasada, okay? A kind of joy that strengthens your faith, joyful faith, radiant faith, bright faith. Yeah, those are different translations for pasada. Okay.
Thank you, Brother Piya. There's one more question.
All right.
Be able to take it.
Okay. Any?
From Brother LCO.
Okay, I see. All right. Yes, please.
Yeah. So Piya, this teaching on Sāriputta's lion roar as to the lion roar, is it just only for Sāriputta, or there are also reference to others using lion roar?
Yeah. Lion roar is a general term. Any kind of uplifting statement, looking up to the dhamma, declaring the dhamma as true and the highest truth, that's a lion roar. We normally use the term lion roar for arahats, for the Buddha, for arahats. For lay people, it's something like a thunderous voice. Okay, there's the word gacchita, from G-A-J-J-I-T-A. Yeah, so it wouldn't apply to ordinary people like us. We don't use the word lion roar because the lion, of course, the Buddha, right? So it's just out of respect to the Buddha. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Brother Piya.
Yeah.
That's all the question in the chat box.
All right.
Yeah.
Good. No more last chance. Any people have? We want you to leave with a feeling that your questions are answered. So if you have we have a few minutes. You like to ask? This is your last.
Okay, Brother Piya, there's a follow-up question from Brother LCO.
Okay.
The discourse that inspires serene faith seem to be only for the arahants?
No, you find that the teachings do apply to us. The teachings about arahats, yes, but there are, for example, the 37 weakness factors, all those things. You find they do help us. There are some aspects that do help us. The Digha Nikaya tend to, what should I say, project Buddhism as on a grand scale, full of lights and colors and sounds, to attract new people, non-Buddhists. So you find there's a lot of things being spoken in this sutta. It's the nature of the longer suttas to attract new followers. Okay? You can't really practice it because it's so many things there. So you have to select something that is critical for yourself. So it's like a big catalog, huge catalog. You select the teaching that you like. So here's your chance, in other words, to look at the array, look at the range of teachings available. Okay. All right. So
thank you, Brother Piya.
That's it, huh?
That's it.
Finally, okay. So let us spend this moment once again.
Take photo.
Yeah. Sorry. Oh
take
yeah.
Photo.
Yes. Yeah. One last thought. I'm really impressed with Charles. He did this proofreading of 200 points. It's amazing. I mean, he really did it very carefully. So thank you, Charles, for your proofing. Okay. All right.
Okay.
That's good.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Okay. Right. So this is our final lesson for this Lunar New Year. Now we welcome, I think it's the year of the dragon, right? Coming. So spend this wonderful moment recalling how you have dedicated some time of your life to studying the Buddha's teaching, right? Reciting the precepts and practicing meditation and listening to the Dharma and so on. So by the power of all these wonderful deeds you have done, this good karma, wish yourself well and happy and peaceful and good health with a calm and clear mind. And send these kind thoughts to your loved ones too, your teachers, to others, even to people who have been difficult, that they may understand you better and be your friends in time. So this is the moment we recall all these wonderful moments. And above all, let us show our gratitude to the three jewels, the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, that has been with us all these years, giving us wisdom and happiness and freedom. Arahang Samma Sambuddho Bhagava Buddhang Bhagavantang Abhivademi. Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammang Namasami. Supatipanno Bhagavato Sāvaka Sangho Sanghang Namam. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.